Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we are going to have our discussion on a very important concept of doing the matchmaking. So friends, when we talk about the concept of matchmaking, which is generally followed and advised in Vedic astrology, is that you have to match the points of the prospective couple out of 36 points, and those 36 points are done on the basis of what is your moon nakshatra, what is the tara, what is yoni, so that many times get little bit complicated. And another way of looking at is that not only it is going to be little bit difficult for a layman to understand, but also friends, this kind of matchmaking is majorly emphasized, heavily emphasized on your moon nakshatra. But try to understand this thing, that all of the planets have a role to play in our life. In order to function to the best of your capabilities with someone in the relationship, it becomes very important that all the essence which planets represent, you should be kind of resonating with complete harmony with your partner, with your prospective partner, on all of those planetary vibration. So that is something friends which we will try to understand in this video. This is a standalone video which I learned from my Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan faculty teacher Ashwini Kumar Bansal sir, and he also keeps on organizing lot many Zoom courses and workshop as well. So if you have not checked them, you can search on my community post, because I have posted a lot of the Ashwini sir's organized workshops and seminars as well. And in this video friends, now we will start our discussion that how as a layman you can do a matchmaking for someone, whether you are single planning to get married, or let's say for example you're already in a relationship, but the troubles or the confusion or the disagreement which comes in your marriage, in your relationship, it is always pertaining to one specific area of life. So after listening to this video, I am just speculating, I'm hoping that it is going to give you the answers that what could be the reason of the disharmony in your relationship. And definitely friends, at the end, I wanted to actually, rather than taking up or picking up any reference case study, I actually wanted to pick up some celebrity couples example, their charts, for everyone's better understanding. So just because, as you know, that in internet majority of the data is just out of reference only. So after coming across the charts of David Beckham and Victoria Beckham, I somehow got this sense that their birth chart which I got from the internet, that seems to be kind of close to accurate. So we will take their chart as one of the reference case example or case study to study the implement the principle which we will just about to discuss in this video. So okay friends, to begin with, now first of all you need to understand what role does the planets play in our life, or what is going to be their contribution in your relationship prospect. So we will first start with the ascendant. Now ascendant is very important because ascendant tells about your your physical constitution, anything to do regarding the prospects of your health, concerns of sexuality, your vigor. For that you need to give attention to the ascendant. So that is the first point. Second thing is, now we talk about sun. Sun is very important friends, because sun just tells about the prospects of recognition. You cannot put those kind of people in a relationship where one person is very egoistic, or let's say for example for one person public image, integrity is of paramount importance, and other person has got very questionable morals. So sun is something where you have to give attention. The second thing is the role played by moon, which is very important, because in order to resonate with someone in the relationship, there has to be emotional compatibility, emotional understanding. The third is friends Mars. Mars is very important because if I were to say or pick any one planet which is responsible for majority of the disharmony in people's relationship, that is all because of the planet Mars. So on a negative side, Mars can contribute to competitiveness within the relationship. Rather than supporting each other, you're competing with your own partner. On a positive side, Mars is also important because when we talk about sexuality, Mars also has a role to play over here, and sexual compatibility is also a very important aspect of any relationship. Now friends, moving ahead. Now when we talk about the planet Mercury, it also becomes very important. Try to understand this thing that you cannot put two people in a relationship where one person is very intellectually savvy, another person has got a very bohemia kind of mindset. So because of which your intelligence, your intellect, your IQ level should also match with a person you are in relationship. So you have to give attention to the planet Mercury. Then is the friends the planet Jupiter. So Jupiter becomes very important because when we talk about the contribution of the Jupiter also tells about how much you are going to prosper. And when we talk about the divine intuitive wisdom aspect, like following the dharmic code, unless and until friends, when we talk about any relationship which you might have with your acquaintances, with your neighbors, with your friends, and the kind of bond which you have with your partner, with your your wife, your husband, your live-in partner. So just because of it's the Jupiterian's quality only which adds the dharmic aspect, the integrity, morals in that relationship, the faith in that relationship. Now moving ahead friends, Venus is also very important because when we talk about Venus, see, all the lifestyle choices somehow is being attached with the dignity of Venus in your chart. So now imagine you cannot be in a relationship with someone where your taste, your lifestyle choices do not match with each other. Now friends, Saturn is also very important because Saturn somehow has to do with the sustenance and the hard work and the resistance. So a relationship cannot survive where whole pressure is just coming on the shoulder of one person only. So Saturn just tells about the endurance aspect in the relationship. Now when we talk about the prospects of Rahu and Ketu, so Rahu is very important because let's say for example, in a relationship, one person has got a very accentuated, very strong Rahu. Now this person is always thinking out of the box. This person has a very new age way of thinking and looking at life, and the other person is very traditional, very orthodox. So because of which you have to give attention to Rahu as well. And lastly friends, Ketu is also very important. Its significance you might not realize with rational mind, but you never even know that you might have an unfinished business with a soul from the past life. So because of which Ketu also plays a very pivotal role in the matchmaking. So now friends, that is something which I wanted to say initially, first part, as the importance of the planetary role in any sort of relationship compatibility analysis. Here I am not talking about all those complicated and all those Vedic language. This is a simple basic concept which I learned from my teacher, my faculty. Now friends, moving ahead to the next section. Now friends, now what you have to do is that you have to do the compatibility on two planes. One is on the basis of both the prospective people in a relationship. One is on the basis of the planet's sign placement, and the second is going to be planetary house placement. So these are two different things, and we are only going to take into consideration your main ascendant chart, your main D1 chart. Because friends, now when I say that why you have to give attention only to the planets is sign placement and the house placement. So try to understand this thing that planet are just the moving physical bodies, but the way they function, the theme with which they function, that all gets determined by the sign placement and where. So the sign placement of the planet just gives you the answer of how. But when we talk about where, so for example, an empowered Saturn is definitely going to make someone disciplined, is going to make someone responsible. But basis where exactly this empowered Saturn is placed, in which house that empowered Saturn is placed, you will get to know that in which specific area of the life you will be fulfilling your duties and responsibilities. So okay friends, that is something which I wanted to tell you. And one last principle which is very important to understand before we forge ahead in this discussion is that the compatibility can only be done on the certain parameters. Like for example, if you will find the planets, this is a girl's chart or a boy's chart, or a boy or a boy, or girl, all kind of relationship I'm talking about. So what I'm saying is that if you will find that they have, the two prospective people have their planets present in the same house, so it is considered as a good placement. So now once we will move ahead in our discussion, you will get to know what I'm talking about. So both placed in the same house or same zodiac sign is always a win-win situation. The second is, let's say for example, if you will find that a planet bases the Rashi, the zodiac sign or the house, if they are in 2-12 combination. So for example, you have your Mars to be placed in the Aries and your partner has the Mars placed in the Taurus. You have your Jupiter placed in the Scorpio. Your partner has Jupiter placed in the Sagittarius. So now the planets bases the zodiac sign are 2-12 from each other. So 2-12 is little bit kind of a sensitive placement where the essence of that particular planet might ask a lot from you. So you have to contribute and you have to be ready to sacrifice as well. Now the third situation is that, which is considered as one of the best, is if you will find planets to be in a 3-11 combination. So let's say for example, you have your moon in the Aries and your partner has its moon in the Gemini sign. So that means that your moon, from your moon to your partner's moon, it is 3 places ahead of it. From your partner's moon to your moon, it is 11 places ahead of it. So 3-11 is considered as one of the best combination of success, mutual compatibility, friendliness, all sort of connection, influence and positive development and growth. Now friends, moving ahead. Now when we talk about the combination of 4 and 10. So let's say for example, you have Cancer Jupiter and your partner's Jupiter is in the Libra sign. So that means from your Jupiter to your partner's Jupiter, you have to go 4 places ahead. But from your partner's Jupiter, because your partner's Jupiter is Libra, your Jupiter is in the Cancer, you have to go 10 places to reach your Jupiter. So 4-10 combination, friends, is not very vulnerable or bad, but it brings lot of responsibilities as well. But with responsibilities, power, authority can also be gained. Now friends, I would say now the best combination is about to come, which is the 5-9 combination. So let's say for example, if your Mercury is in Aries and your partner's Mercury is in the Leo, or let's say for example, your Sun is in Leo or your partner's Sun is in the Sagittarius. So 5-9 combination is generally considered as one of the best combination for the essence of that particular planet to manifest its best qualities in the relationship, where we think about, you know, taking care for each other, being very loyal, being very righteous in the essence which that particular represent within the relationship. Now friends, the next is, and the most difficult and the vulnerable, is 6-8 combination. So any point of time, if you will find any specific planet, so let's say for example, if we will take up the case of the planet Mars, which is majorly responsible for all the turmoils. So if you are a Aries Mars person and your partner's Mars is in the Virgo. So friends, try to understand this thing. So if you are a Aries Mars and let's say for example, you are a Aries ascendant as well. So that is definitely going to make you manglik. So your partner or the prospective person you want to be in relationship, that person has got a, for example, has also got a Aries, Aries ascendant, but the Mars is present in the 6th house in the Virgo sign. So now if you will say that okay, the other person is not manglik because the Mars is in the 6th house, so that in itself is not sufficient. Even within the way both of your Mars is going to communicate with each other, there is going to be lot of competition, lot of resentment, trying to prove each other's point. So even from that aspect, that alignment can also create difficulties within the relationship as well. Like not only it is going to make these two people competitive within the relationship rather than supporting each other, but also when we talk about the prospects of sexuality or rashness over there, animalistic instincts manifesting itself. So even from that perspective, this is a kind of a vulnerable placement. So 6-8 is always the most difficult for any planet to be in alignment incompatibility with each other. And lastly friends, let's say for example if we will find planets to be in a 1-7 combination, that is still considered as a good placement. So for example, if your Venus is in Gemini and your partner's Venus is in Sagittarius, your Venus is in Capricorn, your partner's Venus is in Cancer, so 1-7 combination for the planets to be placed in is still considered as a good placement. So that is something friends which I wanted to share with you as a part of the individually different alignments and different space and distance between the planets from each other, which you can find in any particular compatibility prospects. Now friends, we will take up the case of the reference example which I was mentioning at the beginning of this video. So now all what you have to do is that whatever points I'm going to be sharing it with you, you have to see the planet's contribution on two planes. One is the sign plane, the Rashi wise zodiac sign contribution, and second is going to be the house placement. Now friends, I will be very honest with you. Let's say for example, for the Rashi placement, you can still take your ascendant chart, but let's say for example your ascendant is it's not in the middle of the zodiac, it is in the early part or in the last section of the zodiac, then definitely in the Bhav Chalit chart, majority of the planets are going to move or shift houses in your Bhav Chalit chart. So I would say for the Rashi contribution, take up the main ascendant chart, but while assessing it on the plane of the planet's placement in the house, you can also consider taking the Bhav Chalit chart, because that is going to serve a better purpose. So now friends, the example I was talking about, so let's take up our celebrity chart as a reference. So first we will see the chart of the David Beckham. So as you can see, just because not only he was a successful athlete, but also he was considered as a fashion icon as well. So if you will see over here friends, that in his chart he was the Taurus ascendant, Venus, Mercury, Ketu are present right over there in his first house, Sun is exalted in the 12th house, and not only that, the prospects of fame, recognition, Rahu is dignified in the 7th house, Jupiter is well placed, we have discussed. So now friends, we will come back to our compatibility prospect. So we will start taking up planets one by one. So for example, now if you have to first take the ascendant's case. So friends, the Rashi which you will see that in his chart, he is the Taurus ascendant and his wife Victoria Beckham is the Gemini ascendant. So as you can see in the ascendant wise, there is a 2 and 12 combination. So there is a lot which one person in the relationship, they both were famous in their respective field, but somehow one has to sacrifice and one might have gained. So that might have remained a journey of their life in their professional career as well. Now we will start taking up planets one by one. So first we will take up the case of the Sun. So if you will see over here that in David Beckham's chart, Sun is exalted in the Aries sign, and in the Victoria Beckham's chart, even her Sun is exalted in the Aries sign. So that means both are in the same sign. That is a win-win situation. Now we will take up the case of Moon. In David Beckham's chart, the Moon is in the Capricorn sign, but in Victoria Beckham's chart, you will see that Moon is placed in the Aquarius. So it's again a 2-12 combination, which is still considered as a good placement. Now we will move to the planet Mars. So in David Beckham's chart, his Mars is in the Aquarius, and you will see in Victoria Beckham's chart, her Mars is in the Gemini. So now friends, if you will see over here that her Mars and his Mars are also in a 5-9 combination, which is considered as one of the best combination. So as you can see that one was the athlete and other person was also in the fashion, in the beauty, in the music. So because of which you can fairly see that they both actually pushed each other to the best of their capabilities in their respective chosen craft. And yes, they are also considered as a very power couple as well. Friends, moving ahead, now if you will see the contribution of the planet Mercury. So in David Beckham's chart, his Mercury is in the Taurus sign, and in Victoria Beckham's chart, her Mercury is in the Pisces sign. So now friends, if you will see over here, so the combination which is getting formed, that is a 3-11 combination, so which is a very good sign for success, communication aspect, working to the betterment of each other's favor. And not only that, both of them also helped each other commercially gain in their respective field as well. So communication, commercial activity, everything is happening, social influence, everything is happening to the best of their interest. So one person's circle of influence is helping his partner, and the partner's stars, influence, communication, PR, rapport is helping another. So you can fairly see over here. So this is how, friends, you will see all the planets and their contribution as per the zodiac sign placement. So I will again say the same thing, that 6-8 is considered as the most afflicted alignment, 2-12 asks a lot out of you, and 3-11 and 5-9 is considered as one of the best placement. So is the planets to be placed in the same zodiac sign. Now friends, we will move to the next section. So let's say, for example, if you have to now see it from the perspective of the house placement of the planets. So definitely for the ascendant we have to rule it out, but if you will see that in David Beckham's chart, the sun is in the 12th house, and in Victoria Beckham's chart, now you do not have to confuse the zodiac sign. Remove and forget the zodiac sign. Just see the house placement. If you want to open the Bhav Chalit chart, there is a lot of variation happening either in your chart, your prospective partner's chart. So you can take into consideration Bhav Chalit chart at the time of seeing the planetary house placement and seeing the compatibility with each other. So friends, in David Beckham's chart, sun is in the 12th house, and in Victoria Beckham's chart, sun is in the 11th house. So it is creating a 2-12 kind of combination. A lot to gain, a lot to sacrifice. Now we talk about, let's say for example, the planet Jupiter. So for Jupiter, as you can see over here, that in Jupiter's case, the house placement in David Beckham's chart is in the 11th house, and in the Victoria Beckham's chart it is in the 9th house. So again friends, if you have to count from the 11th house and you have to reach the 9th house, so that means it is again a 3-11 combination, which is a very good sign. So that is how, friends, you have to see. And at the end, because at the end of this video, all what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make a summary of this reference chart, and once you will start doing the assessment, all what you have to do is that the contribution of one specific planet, then you have to see its Rashi contribution, which is going to tell about that the way planet function, its theme manifest, is it harmonious with you and your partner with each other or not. When you see the graph of the compatibility on the basis of house placement, it just tells about that the foundation, the groundedness of the essence of the planets. Is there a compatibility between both of you on that level, on that ground or not? So let's say for example, while making any lifestyle decision, the way you make the decision, that is one thing which you get to know from the Rashi compatibility. But from the house compatibility aspect, you will get to know that how grounded, how practical and realistic your choices are in different essence represented by the planets. And friends, at the end, if you actually want to make a conclusion, so it all comes down to, let's say for example, the planets and the planetary compatibility on the Rashi perspective and the house perspective. If they both are giving you a positive outcome in a way that they both, Venus in your chart, in your partner's chart, basis the zodiac sign distance and basis the house distance, they both are forming a 3-11 and 5-9 combination, or a 5-9 and same house placement. So this can be seen as that the essence of that planet is going to manifest the best results in your relationship, compatibility prospects. So friends, at the end, all what I want to say is that many times what happens is that astrology is not that very complicated. We all just resort to one way of looking at things. All what we do is that we key in our details in the matching compatibility softwares, and we just see that okay, out of 36 this is my point tally. Or many times people look at whether I'm Manglik or not. So it becomes very important to see deep into the different essence represented by those planets as well, because now times are changing, things are getting evolved. All these nadi, all these varna, everything has been written at the time when everything was done on the domain and in the purview within the circle of tradition culture only. But these days people are getting into people are in live-in relationship, people are getting into intercaste, international relationship. So it comes down to whether and when you are with someone in a closed doors, your compatibility on all the planes represented by the planets. So I will look forward to your suggestion, your valuable comments on this video, because that is how I will get the kind of a motivation that do I have to make more videos on this particular subject or not. So this is something, friends, which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs on this concept of matchmaking. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.